Speaking of arts, I want to introduce Scott and ask you to share a few words that you'd like to share, and then I'll have a few questions.
Yeah. I was really excited to be invited to this and have been meeting the speakers, and it's amazing. Some of you, I was having a discussion with somebody about art, and they're like, this is great, but maybe you could help explain it. Like, why do we have a painter in our midst? And you know, one of the great things, I don't know if art will ever change the world, and in that way, it's kind of neutral. But what it does is help us dialogue as people. And so then if people change, maybe it helps us change our perception, and then it could bring about some change. So really just listening, I'm here to be kind of a visual scribe and just listening. And this image we have, I was struck by what Amy said about, you know, we got to bloom where we're planted. And a lot of times, maybe we don't like where we're planted, or we find ourselves in a place where, like, this is where you want me to bloom. Like, it's been over. Like, the main show has been over for a while, and I'm supposed to bring about life here. And you know, the kingdom is this seed that grows into a tree, and then it provides a home for the birds, and that's our work. And so that's some of what's going on there. But anyways. For those of you who didn't pick up on that, that was a little explanation for you.
Thank you. Just a little bit of information about Scott. Scott's an artist in resident at Ecclesia, which is a church in Houston. And I'm surrounded in my life, and have been since I was a child, by artists. And
sorry. Oh, I mean,
no,
that's
no,
great.
I'm not. And the question, what does that mean, can be an interesting question. In fact, Scott, you're interested in the creative work itself, the narrative, the story that emerges as you work. What it is when it's done is only part of it for you, isn't it? Talk about the process.
I will accomplish that in 5 minutes. You know, for me, I was a teaching major and found myself in my late 20s just kind of going, this doesn't seem right. And I had this dialogue with God where I was like, what am I supposed to be doing with my life? And I had this real sense that I was supposed to be an artist. Like, when I looked, you know, your best job is where the things that you're best at, you're doing all the time. And I was like, the best thing I can do is make art. And that was actually a really disappointing moment for me, because I really saw real problems in the world, and I said, nobody's gonna like send in the painters to help with hunger. And there's this, I'm sorry I detract, but there's this analogy, there was this amazing environmental propaganda cartoon when I grew up called Captain Planet. And the story is like the planet's dying and the Earth Spirit gives out these magic rings, and there's like these powerful ones like fire, earth, wind, and water. And then they gave out this ring called heart. And the power of heart was to instill empathy and caring in people. And I felt, and you're like, that's a lame power in a fist fight. You know, like, we're gonna go fight evil. I want you to care and I'm really emotional about it. You know, like it is. And I felt like God was giving me the heart ring. And I was like, that's very, thank you, but can I swap? You know, and, but I said, okay, but if you are calling me to justice and you're calling me to the restorative work that you're doing, and I can't do this with the gifts you've given me, then it's your fault if you're not happy with my life, which is a pretty bold statement to say. And God has shown me a way to do that. You know, and I think that who artists are, as I've come to embrace this, is we are the heart ring. Like our job is to stop and think about what we're doing as people, what our journeys are, what are the things that are making us better or destroying us, what are our relationships, how's it affecting us, what is going on with globalization, you know, all these things. That's what's coming out in our music, in our film, in our imagery. And that's who the artists are in our community. And in a brilliant way, Captain Planet covered it. Because yeah, we need these powerful, you know, powers, but we also need somebody there going, we need to help you care. We need to help instill empathy in you while you're in these activities of, you know, forces and power. And that's, so as I find myself now in a church, and I'm in there going, okay, how does an artist fit in this church? I mean, part of my role is to is to stop and what are we doing as a community? What are we talking about? And, you know, art, I'm learning, is the process, and it's not just about the finished product, it's the process in which I learn about the world. So now I set projects in front of me going, I want to know how to respond to the fact that we're all going to die. Like I'm planning a hospice kind of art thing. Because I met some people who work in hospice care and they're telling me about people at the end of their life saying, this is how you should live your life. And I think we're so busy, we're like, yeah, okay, I'll do that, but I gotta be a workaholic this week. And I'm going, I wanna stop, because I'm a parent now, and I wanna stop and go, what does it really mean to live a balanced life like this person at the end of their life is saying? And so I'm going to make an art project on that, because that's what I do. Anyways.
Martin, the other thing, you get to wear the coolest clothes
I
in the
know,
room.
it's amazing. I heard it was business casual, so I...
Martin Luther said that the poor need art because their lives are lived in ugliness. And the great street pastor, theologian, priest from Sao Paulo, Dom Helder Camara, said that only the wealthy can afford to neglect art. The poor cannot. And when you go around the world into refugee camps and resettlement areas and places where poverty is extreme, art always is as central as bread. Yeah. There's something deep and profound about our humanity that is essential about art. I want you to please look at this man's website. He's got a set of icons of saints from the TV series Lost that is awesome. He also has unbelievable iconography of children from Ethiopia and Vietnam and around the world, from Swaziland, Swaziland and elsewhere. Your art is an essential foundation block of kingdom building for us, and I'm so grateful that you painted for us today.